Peace to Universal Family. Peace to Universal Families.
Peace to Universal Family. Peace to the Universal Family. My name is Clocksyn.
Peace to Universal Family. It's me, Clocksyn, and we're back with a new video finally. And I've been waiting so long to do this video. Today's video is the art of understanding. Alright, I haven't done an art video in a minute, and it's finally about time. I know y'all be like, damn, Clocksyn, where you been at? So I'm still getting settled into the new area and whatnot. As y'all can see from my last video, I did move, so I'm in a new area now, and yeah, still getting settled. But I gotta still crank these videos out for y'all, you know? So we're gonna get straight to it without further ado. Today's video is about understanding. So y'all know how I break it down. I break down the word, what it means, the definition of the word, what it represents, and my personal perspective on the word, and then the pros and cons and the conclusion. Alright, so without further ado, let's get straight to it. Today's video is sponsored by the Clocksyn podcast. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify and YouTube for all the monthly episodes that drop on there, and make sure you tap in. We talk about spirituality, entertainment, finance, and more, so make sure you tap in. Okay, understanding. Definition. What is understanding? The ability to understand something. Comprehension. Okay, so we're dealing with comprehension here. Be able to comprehend something. This could be anything, right? So, another definition. Sympathetically aware of other people's feelings, tolerant, and forgiving. Okay. Having insight or good judgment. These are all definitions of the word understanding, okay? Sorry my voice is a little cloggy. It's still adjusting. Alright, so that's the definition of understanding. And here's my personal perspective on what understanding really means to me and how I interpret it to the world and myself. I feel like me understanding someone else brings clarity to myself and them. You know, like I personally think when you understand someone, you gain a new perspective as well. And you're also able to help them gain a new perspective by truly understanding someone. So it's like a double-sided coin type thing, you know? And I feel like you can bring an understanding to someone else, and you can also receive an understanding, you know? So when somebody says something like, wow, okay, I actually get that. And then you can say something, and then they can understand something that you said based on y'all both understanding each other. So it's like a dual relationship type knowledge sharing type thing. And that's what I truly feel like understanding really is. Because people say they understand people or things, but they really don't, you know? Because when you understand something, you should receive something new, you know? You should receive... it should be like I said, a dual, you know, type feeling where the person who explained it to you, got a new understanding based on it. It could just be the fact that you understood them, gave them a new understanding. Wow, somebody understood what I just said. That's a new understanding. Vice versa, you hearing what they said will give you understanding. So it's all duality, and that's what I feel like a true understanding should be. You know, so we're gonna go to the next part is how to understand somebody. Okay, so here's how I personally think people should try to understand people. Is number one, ask questions. You know, you're not gonna ever truly be able to understand someone or something unless you have knowledge of that thing. You know, we can guess all day, we can look around and make these assumptions all day, but if we don't ask questions and we don't actually indulge in that aspect of our mind and we want to know about something, we want to understand, we got to do it. We got to ask questions. We got to research. We got to go find it. You know, we have to ask questions. So that's number one. Call to action. You know, just do it. Go forward with it and figure it out. Even if you ask the wrong questions. To be honest, no question is a wrong question. The only bad question is no question at all. You know. When you don't ask, and I just learned this recently, like really recently, when you don't ask for things, that's actually worse than asking for a stupid thing, you know, because at least if you ask for with a stupid question, you're going to get a response that might be, you know, stupid, whatever, but you're going to learn from that response and you can make a better one. If you never never ask the questions, you're never going to know what could happen, you know, so you're missing out on a lot. So I would rather you guys make and ask stupid questions than to not ask a question at all, you know. I would definitely recommend that. I'm just talking to myself right now too, because it's crazy. Yeah, ask questions. Next one is another way to understand somebody is to listen. Somebody's talking to you and they're trying to get you to understand them, or if they're just expressing themselves. Try to listen to what they're actually saying. Try to actually empathize and really listen. Like, don't always be talking and having your own perspective on something, which is it's very important to have your own perspective on something to build a new understanding with somebody. That's very important. But just off the jump, you want to actually listen to somebody first. Listen to what they're saying, actually comprehend it, and then respond from a place of curiosity and openness. Be open to the understanding that they have and the perspective that they have, and then respond with like, okay, well if that's true, or if that's how your perspective is, well then what about this? Be curious about it. Ask a question based off of what you just heard, and kind of like try and build with that understanding. You know, give a perspective that you already know, and challenge them to agree with it or disagree. And that'll give you a whole new understanding. Kind of like bounce around and be fun with it. Don't just close things off because you think you already understand something, and their understanding isn't going to give you any type of knowledge. You don't want that. You want to always be able to grow, no matter who you're talking to. And that goes straight into the pros. When you can understand somebody, you gain wisdom and knowledge. That's why I love the act of understanding people and things, because if I can understand it, I can do a lot with that. I have wisdom and knowledge of that thing because I truly understand it. I can control that aspect of my life if I can understand. Like, for example, if I understand this book, that's gonna give me new powers and new abilities because I understand what's in it. I can incorporate that into my life. If I don't understand, it's like, oh, just a book I read, but I don't really understand it. I don't get it. A book is not gonna do anything for you. You know, you a person could be a millionaire and they're saying all these things, but you don't understand it. So you're not soaking in any of the knowledge you should probably be soaking in because you don't understand them. You're just there. Try to understand people and things around you to truly gain wisdom and knowledge and level up. Right? Don't just be around stuff and not truly comprehend what's really in your life. Like, try to comprehend these things. All right. So now we're gonna go into the cons. This video's not even gonna be too long, all right? So cons of understanding. And I wouldn't really say cons of understanding. I wouldn't really say there's necessarily a con to understanding someone. What I will say is, the cons you want to avoid to basically not be able to understand somebody. Okay, so there are a lot of ways where you can try to understand somebody, but if it's at a certain type of energy frequency, it's never gonna work. So, for example, if you're confused about something and you don't understand it, but you're going to someone else that's also confused, you're talking to them about it, and they're confused, neither one of you will necessarily come to like the greatest understanding because both of y'all are kind of confused on it, and there's a possibility that y'all can work together and like find understanding together. But really, what I'm trying to come at here is like, you want to be careful when you try to always come to a new understanding with certain people and certain energies. Like, I had this friend, we was talking, right, and he was in a long conversation, right, and this was a few years ago, but I think it was like we were in like a slight argument, kind of like, right, and I was trying to come to a new understanding because I'm always trying to resolve things peacefully, right, but we was in an argument and I was trying to understand where he was coming from. But the fact that he was, every time we were talking, it's like he was always looking for conflict. He was always looking to argue. So it's like, if you're looking for conflict as we're trying to make an understanding, we're never going to make that understanding. We're never going to come to that resolve of, okay, I get it. Yeah, got you. That's what you were thinking, which is why you said that. And that's what I was thinking, which is why I said that. Oh, okay, I got you. It's not even going to reach that point if the other person you're talking to is always looking for conflict or a battle, or, this, oh, you said that, so that's why I said that. And you don't know what you're talking about, but like, if the other person isn't even trying to understand where you're coming from, so you can gain that understanding, and it's just them always seeking for conflict, you're never gonna get that understanding. You want to try to understand people who are, like I said, open and curious to also understanding, and that way y'all can both try to understand together. But if one person is looking for conflict and the other person is trying to understand, it's not gonna work. All right, so those are the cons. And if you sense that energy that somebody's looking for conflict, just stop right there. Don't even try to come to a new understanding. Just, just stop. Okay. because it's gonna give you more of a headache. You're gonna be trying to figure something out, and the other person's gonna look at you stupid because they're trying to argue with you. You're trying to come to a new understanding, so it's not gonna work. So yeah, that's basically it for the cons of understanding and art of understanding. I feel like this video should have been deeper, but this is what I had on the video right now. So another thing, all right, patience. We have to have patience when we're trying to understand things and people, because every action someone does is based off of their prior actions and understanding and knowledge. So when somebody says something or does something, it's based on the things they've learned in the past, right? Whether it's positive or negative. So we have to have the patience to be able to understand why someone said something and why they do what they do, to be able to understand them and not judge them. Like for myself, I was friends with this dude on PlayStation, right? I was talking to him, and he was trying to get me to understand something, but I couldn't really grasp it because we live like complete two different lives, right? So I was like, I think he was saying like he had these issues going on with his life, right? And he was saying like, oh, I can't do this specific thing because I never learned this, right? I was confused, but I was like, oh, I had to basically realize that he was at a disposition in his life to where I'm not gonna like blow out information, but certain aspects of his life basically where he didn't learn certain things, and so he was trying to get me to understand some involving like he was trying to get me to read something, and I didn't really get it because I wasn't under the impression that he didn't know this certain thing. I didn't take the time to understand his life, so I was confused. I was like, I almost started arguing with him. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Why are you trying to get me to understand this? And it makes no sense. I was basically the one who started the conflict because it wasn't making no sense to me. So that basically made me realize that you have to have patience with people. When you try to come to know new understanding, some people are just new to some certain types of information. Not everybody knows what you know, so you can't expect them to. So when you tell them something and they don't get it automatically, it's not your fault. It's not their fault. It's just the fact that they just don't know. And you have to have patience and be willing to understand that part too. Like, not everybody has experienced what you experienced negatively or positively, and they have a completely different outlook on life. In order to truly understand somebody, you have to understand all aspects of them, like how they walk, how they breathe, how they blink, how they talk, how they move their hands around. That's all a part of somebody, And so to truly understand somebody, you definitely need patience, This goes for relationships, friendships, family. Like, you can't just understand somebody after one conversation, You have to understand how they eat. It plays a big part of who they are. I'm talking about how they pick up the spoon and put it in their mouth. Everything matters. And I know y'all probably like, Clocksyn, that's too deep. No. Understanding something and how it was created and how it moves and that's what I try to do my best. I try to understand things to its smallest level. Because it just helps me understand myself, because I'm always about, self-elevation and stuff. So in order to truly elevate, you have to know knowledge of self. And you learn yourself through learning others as well. It's a very neat trick that I've acquired. Like, I've learned so much more about myself being around other people and interacting with them and experiencing things with other people, new people especially. It teaches me so much about myself. So that's basically what I would say about this video. Patience with understanding. Understand that it takes patience to understand something and someone, whether it's a book, whether it's a toy, whether it's a person. It just takes time, all right? But yeah, that's basically it, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you follow me on all my social media networks. Follow the Clocksyn podcast, the whole 9. And yeah, new videos to come. Thank y'all for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace.